Following headlines, the President decides to revise the present Hajj quota policy to give precedence to first-time pilgrims. The Minister of Foreign Affairs states that the Maldives currently undertaking numerous development projects with the assistance of the Indian government is a testament to the strong bilateral relations between the two countries. And MWSC reveals the company has set in motion plans to diversify and expand its portfolio in a bid to increase its revenue. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Utma Mahmoud. Looking into the details, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz decides to revise the present Hajj quota policy to give precedence to first-time pilgrims. The decision was taken to revise the policy to offer a solution for the long waiting list of people waiting to perform the Hajj pilgrimage for the first time. According to the government, the newly revised policy will come into effect from next year. The revised policy includes to give precedence to people undertaking their first Hajj pilgrimage, to dedicate a certain percentage of the annual Hajj quota for people above 65 years of age waiting to offer their first pilgrimage, allowing people aged 75 years and above who have not performed Hajj to arrange an aid based on their health condition. However, the aid must be a person who also has not undertaken the Hajj pilgrimage before, but an exception can be made if a first-time pilgrim is not available to be an aid. The government has said that the health condition of such people will be assessed through doctors appointed by the Maldives Hajj Corporation. People who have already performed Hajj will only be given another opportunity if 5 years have lapsed since their last pilgrimage. Officials taken by Maldives Hajj Corporation will be exempt from clauses 1, 2 and 3. According to the Hajj Corporation, there are currently 9,115 people on the waiting list for Hajj pilgrimage. Of these, 7,543 are under 65 years of age, 1,461 are between 65 and 75 years of age, and 111 are over 75 years of age. There are 8,623 people seeking their first Hajj pilgrimage on the waiting list, which includes 7,150 under 65, 1,370 between 65 and 75 years, and 103 over 75 years. The government has been in discussions with its Saudi Arabian counterparts to increase the annual Hajj quota available to the Maldives. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdullah Halil states that the Maldives is currently undertaking numerous development projects with the assistance of the Indian government and highlighted that this is a testament to the strong bilateral relations between the two countries. The Foreign Minister made this statement in an interview with international news outlet WION during his recent official visit to New Delhi, India. During the visit, the minister met with India's Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Subrahmanyam Jaishankar, where they reviewed the entire spectrum of bilateral relations and discussed new areas for future collaboration. Minister Halil characterized India-Maldives relations as historic in his interview with WION and underscored that the enduring nature of this relationship stems from mutual respect, trust and close friendship. He said that India's unwavering commitment to maintaining robust ties with the Maldives is evidenced by the numerous developmental initiatives supported by the Indian government. The Foreign Minister also noted cooperation between the two neighbors in the defense sector and regional security of the Indian Ocean region. One of the largest developmental initiatives currently progressing in the Maldives is the Male-Tilbury Bridge project carried out with Indian assistance. Citing this, Minister Halil highlighted President Dr. Muiz's efforts to expedite the project through high-level meetings with officials from both nations. Projects to develop 4,000 housing units are also advancing in the Maldives with Indian support. Minister Halil described the Maldives as a highly favored tourist destination, particularly renowned among prominent figures in the entertainment industry from India. He expressed confidence that India will remain a vital developmental partner for the Maldives and commended India's dedication to assisting its neighboring countries with simultaneously advancing its own development. In conclusion, Mr. Halil affirmed that the foreign policy of President Dr. Muiz's administration is founded on fostering and sustaining bilateral and multilateral relations while safeguarding the country's sovereignty and independence. He also conveyed his optimism regarding the future of India-Maldives relations, highlighting that significant progress has been made over the past year. The year 2024 has been transformative for the Maldives, characterized by the administration's extensive initiatives to elevate religious awareness and strengthen the zakat system. The establishment of the Zakat House marked a historic milestone as the first of its kind in the nation's history. The establishment has markedly expanded awareness programs on zakat and other religious matters. Additionally, the formulation of the Sharia principles and standards of zakat collection and distribution for the first time has set a new benchmark in zakat management. 2024 also saw a record-breaking collection of zakat donations. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's commitment to providing Hajj pilgrimage opportunities to 1,000 underprivileged individuals saw significant progress. For the first time in the nation's history, the state sponsored the Hajj pilgrimage for financially incapable individuals, benefiting 50 persons registered as poor. The administration dedicated the entire quota allocated by the government of Saudi Arabia to the state-owned Maldives Hajj Corporation, ensuring that all Hajj pilgrims traveled under its supervision. The administration also plans to revise the Hajj quota allocation policy to prioritize first-time pilgrims, inviting public input and opinions on this change. Regarding Umrah policies, the administration implemented revised regulations for tour operators, permitting private companies to request licenses for arranging Umrah pilgrimage throughout the year. This contrasts with previous policies that restricted applications to specific periods. Efforts to enhance Quranic knowledge were notably prominent in 2024. The administration launched an initiative to conduct Quran classes in mosques and announced the inauguration of an annual ceremony to honor individuals who have memorized the Noble Quran. This event is scheduled to take place annually on the eve of the 27th day of Ramadan, a night of profound spiritual significance in Islam. Continuing its tradition from previous years, the administration conducted Quran recitation competitions and facilitated the participation of Maldivian reciters in international competitions. Additionally, plans are underway to construct a dedicated building for the National Center for the Holy Quran. To enhance the management of mosques, the administration established the National Council on Mosques. Training programs for youth and current imams were intensified, with 818 imams participating in these programs in 2024. Additionally, 100 imams were afforded international training opportunities. Infrastructural development projects related to religion experienced renewed momentum. The administration resumed previously suspended projects, including the construction of 2 Islamic centers and 28 other mosque development initiatives currently in progress. Plans were also announced for the development of Waqf buildings, with 1 building each planned for Male and Hulumale. To further disseminate Islamic and Quranic knowledge, the administration launched the Risalah program. This initiative was designed to elevate religious awareness and promote the teachings of Islam and the Quran. Overall, 2024 was distinguished by the administration's significant efforts to enhance religious awareness and strengthen the zakat system in the Maldives. The Maldives, a small island nation, is experiencing the severe and detrimental effects of climate change. Key issues include the escalation of tidal surges in coastal regions and heavy flooding during seasonal rains, both of which cause significant destruction to livelihoods, properties, and household items. In response to these challenges, the Maldives recently endorsed the Maldives Disaster Risk Reduction Strategy 2024 to 2030. The National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) has been diligently working to bolster the resilience of Maldivian communities against the adversities brought about by climate change. The endorsement of the strategy by the National Disaster Management Council, shared by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, underscores the priority that President Dr. Muiz and his administration place on mitigating the risks and impacts of climate change. The strategy concentrates on 7 primary areas to mitigate the damage caused by natural and other forms of disasters. These areas include establishing a legal framework for disaster management, conducting multi-hazard risk assessments, enhancing the resilience of urban areas, and the natural environment, boosting community resilience and capacity to deal with disasters, strengthening early warning systems, increasing financial capacity to address and recover from disasters, and fostering sustainable traditions for disaster management. The Chief Executive Officer of NDMA, Hisan Hassan, underscored that the new strategy will serve as a blueprint for future disaster preparedness and will function as a roadmap to enhance resilience and mitigation efforts. He said that the Maldives is actively engaging in significant international treaties and agreements, participating at the forefront. Efforts to enhance resilience and risk reduction encompasses strengthening early warning systems and increasing the capacity of the personnel responsible for overseeing those systems. The Maldives Disaster Risk Reduction Strategy 2024 to 2030 is designed to anticipate, reduce, and manage the risk associated with both natural and man-made disasters, including those induced by climate change. Its primary objective is to minimize disaster damage by addressing the root causes of risks and vulnerabilities in the natural and built environment, residential areas, and infrastructure. The strategy seeks to foster community resilience by prioritizing the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Its ratification will enable the reduction and mitigation of disaster-related risks and contribute to building human capacity in the field of disaster risk reduction. Additionally, the strategy aims to bolster the Maldives' global advocacy efforts against climate change with a particular emphasis on the risks faced by small island developing states (SIDS). An annex of the strategy is dedicated to enhancing resilience efforts and improving efficiency through the newly established Disaster Risk Reduction (DRR) strategy and the National Adaptation Plan, both of which are being developed in accordance with the Paris Agreement. Managing Director of Male Water and Sewerage Company (MWSC), Abdul Mateen Mohammed reveals the company has set in motion plans to diversify and expand its portfolio in a bid to increase its revenue. Founded in 1995, MWSC is primarily tasked with providing safe water and sewerage services. The company has recently initiated efforts to expand its business portfolio in a bid to manage its operations through its revenue. One of the key objectives in its new direction, MWSC has been looking to revise its service-to-revenue ratio. Speaking to PSM News, MD Mateen said the company's revenue portfolio currently accounts for 55% from water and sewerage services, while the rest is generated as non-utility revenue. However, MWSC is aiming to boost its non-utility revenue by expanding the company's business portfolio to 60% of total revenue in order to ensure financial sustainability. MWSC's utility services mainly include providing water services to the capital Male region. The company is also responsible for water, electricity and sewerage, as well as waste management services in Duafur Ra Atoll. In addition to utility services, MWSC is also carrying out various projects to establish water and sewerage services in several islands across the Maldives. MWSC has secured new projects worth $84 million, spanning more than 20 islands in 2024, while expanding its sales of bottled drinking water. MWSC last month has listed a $26 million bond on the Maldives Stock Exchange and invited interested parties to invest in $13 million worth of bonds. MWSC has listed the amortized bond on the Maldives Stock Exchange to raise funds for development projects and expansion of the company's business portfolio. The bond subscription has been listed in 2 tranches, with half the total bond amount now open for investors through MWSC's online portal, Vianney. Subscribers will receive 7.5% interest for the 5-year duration of the amortized bond. National flag carrier Maldivian says that the launch of wide-body aircraft operations will significantly expand Maldives' tourism and trade. The first of Maldivians' newly acquired wide-body aircraft is scheduled to arrive on Monday. The acquisition of the Airbus A330 marks a historic milestone for both the airline and the country's aviation industry. Speaking to PSM News, Maldivians' Chief Commercial Officer Ismail Amrah Umar said the wide-body aircraft will commence operations to 3 destinations in China this month. He said that the operations will provide a much-needed boost for local businesses, especially with the free trade agreement FTA with China now in effect. According to him, the airline is launching the wide-body aircraft to 3 destinations in China this month, that is to Beijing, Shanghai and Chengdu. He added that the wide-body aircraft can carry over 10 tons of cargo on each flight, hence that will open a gateway of opportunity for businesses. In addition to trade, Maldivians' wide-body operations will also augment the country's tourism industry. China remains the largest tourism source market for the Maldives, with the highest number of tourist arrivals last year. According to Maldivian, the new aircraft will accommodate 324 passengers across 3 cabin classes: economy, business and premium. The flight's operation is expected to bring in an extra 60,000 passengers annually. The Maldivians' current fleet includes over 20 aircrafts. The Maldivian is planning to expand its wide-body operations to Europe after China. Russia had been pumping about 2 billion cubic meters of gas per year to Transnistria, including a power plant providing energy for all Moldova, a country of 2.5 million people that wants to join the European Union. Separately from the gas transit dispute with Ukraine, Russian energy company Gazprom had said on December 28 that it would stop supplying gas to Moldova on January 1st because of $709 million in unpaid gas debts that Russia says Moldova owes it. Moldova disputes that and has put the debt at $8.6 million. Jonathan Eel, international director at the RUSI think tank in London, said Russia's objective was to squeeze Moldova, foment trouble between the central government and Transnistria, and turn an energy crisis into a political one. He said it was in Moldova's interest to help the separatist region whose self-declared independence is not recognized by any country and whose people it regards as its own citizens. But it would have to charge for any gas it could send to Transnistria, and this could fuel further disputes. Russia blames Ukraine for the halting of gas transit and says the United States will benefit by selling more gas to Europe. Moscow denies using gas as a weapon to coerce Moldova, but said last month as the gas cutoff loomed that it would take steps to protect its citizens and troops in Transnistria and react adequately to any provocations. Moldovan Prime Minister Dorin Rikin said on Friday the cutting of Russian gas to Transnistria had created a crisis for his country. Deployed in the Indian Ocean as part of France's mission, Clemenceau 25 warships and nuclear attack submarines arrives off the coast of India's western Goa state ahead of a joint navy exercise. Commander of French Carrier Strike Group, Rear Admiral Jacques Mallard, said that the aim of the annual Varuna bilateral exercise is to develop interoperability between the two navies and to prepare crews to deal with a multi-threat environment.
This year again, France and India will participate to annual exercise Varuna during our return from the Pacific. This edition will be the 42nd edition of this bilateral exercise. This exercise aims to develop interoperability between our two navies and to prepare crews to face, in cooperation of course, multi-threat environments.
Noting that this is the 42nd edition of this bilateral exercise, Commander of French Carrier Strike Group said that working together with the same kind of aircraft means sharing lessons learned, the process and building together better use of the same tools.
Together with the same kind of aircraft means sharing lessons learned, sharing process, and building together better views of the same tools. So in my opinion, working on the same aircraft, Rafale Marine, from the sea will get all the two navies closer together.
The French Carrier Strike Group, CSG, comprising the aircraft carrier FNS Charles de Gaulle, its air fleet and escort vessels, such as frigates and supply ships, has been deployed at the coastal state's Morgumo port. The last contingent of security forces from Guatemala arrives in Haiti to reinforce the ongoing multinational security support mission in the country. The 75 military police members arrived at the Toussaint Louverture International Airport. On Friday, another 75 officers arrived, bringing the number to the 150 elements promised by the Guatemalan government. Guatemalan President Bernardo Arevalo had in September pledged to send 150 military police 3 months after initially pledging in a letter to the UN an unnumbered contingent alongside personal equipment. The mission is being led by Kenya, which deployed nearly 400 police in the middle of last year, far short of the 1,000 it had promised. The police were later joined by 24 Jamaican personnel and 2 senior officers from Belize. El Salvador, which had in August promised 78 soldiers for medical evacuation operations, as well as 3 helicopters, sent 8 soldiers on Friday. However, the mission has failed to prevent gangs from taking new territories and committing several massacres as violence dramatically escalated in the last months of 2024, causing thousands more people to flee their homes. Haiti's national police have meanwhile shed thousands of officers in recent years. Some 10 countries have together pledged over 3,100 troops for Haiti, but few have so far deployed. American Seth Quintero led the 2-week Dakar Rally on Saturday as race favorites in the car category slowed to secure better conditions for Sunday's 48-hour chrono stage in the South Arabian desert. French mini driver Gerla Chicherit was fastest in the 413-kilometer first stage around the southwestern town of Bisha, but Toyota's Quintero, who finished 50 seconds behind, was promoted hours later. Quintero was credited with 95 seconds to make up for time lost when he stopped to assist Spaniard Laia Sainz, who had crashed. Defending champion Carlos Sainz went against the flow by moving up to 7th, but 5-time winner Nasser Al-Attiyah dropped to 20th. 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb was 24th, and local contender Yazid Al-Raj ended the day 21st. Setting off first through the sea of dunes and over rough and rocky desert tracks is a disadvantage for a driver compared to those who follow. In the motorcycle category, prologue winner Daniel Sanders made it 2 out of 2, and the Australian is now more than 2 minutes clear of defending champion Ricky Brabeck of the United States. Hero rider Sebastian Buller's rally ended after the German crashed and injured his shoulder. A Japanese woman who was the world's oldest woman recognized by Guinness World Records dies at age 116. Tomiko Itoka, born on May 23, 1908, lives in the western Japanese city of Ashia, Hyogo Prefecture. She has been announced as the oldest person since the former title holder, Maria Bransons Morera of Spain, died at the age of 117 in August 2024. Itoka was living at a nursing facility in Ashia City and passed away on December 29 due to old age. A 160-year-old Brazilian, Ina Canabora Lucas, has now become the world's oldest person, who was born 16 days after Itoka, announced by the Gerontology Research Group, a US-based global non-profit scientific group specialized in various fields of gerontology. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
ಆ ಸಾಡೆ ಕೊಂದವ ರಟಂಗೈ
ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ මිහාරු ಡಿಗ್ರಿවිස් නිමැනීනුම් මේ
අති සුට්ටාලු දති කන්ත
ಹುಟ್ಟಾದ ಮರ ಟ್ರೈ ಕುರಂಗ ಮಹೆಂಗ ದೋಸ್ ಕಿರಿಯಾ ಹಿಫಾಟ್ಟಾದ